Welcome back to Done Wrong Garage. Today we've got a real piece of shit for you, let me tell you. So this is a bike that was picked up for 40 bucks. This is originally a YZ85 frame that somebody had gotten their hands on and Frankensteined it a little bit. When I received the bike, it had a Yamaha DT360 engine mounted in there, which is way too big of an engine for the bike. But I like where they were going with it, but their craftsmanship was not great. If you want to get a zoom in here, you can see some of their welds where they cut the frame. Yeah, it wasn't looking too good, and I'm surprised that thing hasn't killed anybody. But I've had the bike for a little while now, and you know, it's been sitting around and thinking about what to do with it. And I think we're gonna go ahead and chop the frame back off to where it normally was. We're gonna do our own custom welds, and I think what we're gonna end up doing with it is a Predator swap. So stay tuned, and we're gonna go ahead and head on out to Home Depot, pick up some supplies, and hopefully we can get this thing back on the road again. So we're heading out right now to a local steel dealer. If you're not aware, going to a local distributor slash manufacturer of steel is 10 times cheaper than going to a big box store like Home Depot. So we're gonna go and pick up about 20 feet of 3/4 inch cold roll steel tubing, and that's what's gonna serve for the actual engine mount. We still need to get a plate too to create the engine mount out of, but we'll see if they also have that when we get there. But for now, we're just gonna head out and get the steel tubing.
All right, just pulled up to Alco Metals, iron and metal. Let's get the gabagoo.
All right, so we're back at the house. We went ahead and picked up the metal we're gonna need. We got a 3/4 inch steel tubing in square and a 3/8 thick steel plate for the engine mount. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and use an angle grinder, and we're gonna go ahead and undo the previous welds. They look like shitty welds, so hopefully they'll come off pretty quick, but who knows, they might have just globbed on a lot of metal. So we're gonna go ahead and get to grinding, I guess. So here we go. Whew, man, I stand corrected on how shitty of a weld job they did, because that was not coming off. That was a weld that didn't want to break. This other side is even scarier, it's a bigger issue.
Oh, you just got that guy right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on there. But that's just one pack holding it though. Bro.
Nah, bro, that pack's not even that good. I cut all the way through
The
already.
top one and the bottom one?
No, it was all the way in there. Yeah.
I feel like this is a weak welded penny, bro.
Yeah. I don't even know how I'm gonna tackle this one right here. Have you looked at this yet?
You don't need this side? They just yop it right here.
That's what I was thinking,
this
bro.
is all just like. You can flat it.
Can you break that off?
I think so.
Alright, so we have gotten the lower frame disconnected. this side right here wasn't even welded. It was just JV welded on there to show the further tweakery that went on this bike in its past life. But yeah, so next step is going to be just cleaning up a lot of dings on the frame, cutting off a lot of stuff that's no longer going to be used. I think this one is, but there's another plate on this side that needs to get cut off. And then just cleaning up all these grinds and clearing off all the paint, getting ready for welds. And then we will come in here with the tape measure, start taking out some dimensions that we're going to need for the engine plate to sit in there, how far forward it's going to have to sit. And then
how much of an offset it needs for the chain to align.
Yeah, how much offset it's going to need. We're going to have to order the torque converter before we could actually bolt the motor down in, just so we can see how far off to the left the chain's going to need to sit. And then, yeah, for now, just going to be plating it up, cleaning it up, getting it ready for welds.
Mask down. Yeah, now it's like too fast. Honestly, how I had it before was leaving a bigger puddle. I just don't think it's powerful enough to do stainless, but it'll be fine for the black iron. Yeah. So, I mean, if it'll hold this shit together, yeah, that shit ain't fucking. It'll fucking put down a decent enough weld to at least hold that shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't think we recorded any of us cutting the bike apart.
Yeah, well.
But we just went ahead and got to cutting. We're just trying to figure out how we're gonna lay this thing. But got this side leveled out right here. So our goal is to plate this off right here with a metal plate, because this is all structured and gusseted out and factory welded to the original frame of the bike. So we want to build a plate off of that, which will eventually connect some kind of tube off of right here onto our platform, which we want to build off the original part of the old frame as well. We're going to implement a bar into here somewhere where it'll build the frame out this way until it connects down to that bar. And so yeah, we've just been cleaning this up. There's a lot of janky welds on here that are pretty scary. Like right here where someone welded to the shock. That's pretty cool.
Alright, so we're basically towards the end of day one of working on this bike. If you can want to go ahead and pan down. We've got quite a bit of work done to it. We got the lower frame removed. We got it all ground down so that the frame of it is basically flat. It's enough for us to get a couple tack welds on there, but basically to give you an idea of where we're moving out from here. If you want to get a zoom in down here, we just got the support plate in here. Basically what's going to happen from there is we're going to get that level, and what's going to happen is this bar right here is going to be tack welded onto the top here so that we can get a full bar. There's going to be opposite one on this side. That's going to be the engine mount. Hopefully we have it right where the sprocket will sit at just the right point. I mean, we're going to have to mock the engine up, but basically for now this is just going to be our main support that's going to be holding the weight of the engine. So we wanted to get that good. So I got a long 8-inch weld across the back here, plus around these sides, which is going to give us a little bit of extra support to guarantee that when we're out there ripping around, this engine doesn't rip right off the bike.
In theory.
In theory. We're hoping here. Remember, this is Done Wrong Garage. We are not professionals.
We're only professionals on Wednesdays.
Yeah, on days that don't end with a Y. So I'm going to go ahead and get this bar level. We'll get it tacked in, and then we'll mock the engine up, and then we'll start designing out the engine mount frame itself.
All right. We had a little extra energy after cleaning the garage. We're going to drop this weld down right here.
Yeah, we're going to do our best to try to get a somewhat decent weld.
Yep.
Like I said, this is, you know, a cheap 125 Harbor Flux welder, but
got it. I think the welding helmet and the welder and the whole deal was like, what, 80 bucks from Harbor Freight?
yeah.
Can't beat that.
For $80 welder?
Can't beat it.
It'll be done wrong.
Yeah. It'll be alright. Yeah, alright. We'll catch you guys when we're dropping some dimes or some spaghetti.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be some nickels.
Yeah, we dropping nickels today. Alright guys, we're back. It's here the next day. A little later in the day, we got caught up with some errands earlier, but as you can see, we got the engine just stacked up on a bucket right here, and we're gonna have to cut the chain just to get the chain lined up with the engine a little bit better. Just as you can see, it's not long enough to reach all the way to the sprocket. I want to have that peace of mind of the chain wrapped around where it needs to be and being straight. And pretty much from there, we're just going to go ahead and build a little frame that's going to hold this engine pretty much almost in this spot. And we just tested some welds and everything's looking like it's going to go good.
Yep.
Cool.
Time to weld it up.
Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back. It's the next day. As you can see, we got this thing out here in the sun so you get a better look at it with some better lighting. But as you can see, we got the main frame all built and tacked into place, sitting up there, and pretty much before we can put our engine plate on there, we're just waiting on the torque converter to come so we know where we need to place it. So just for today, just gonna get her all cleaned up, and we're on the wait for parts, which should be here tomorrow. And in theory, tomorrow this thing should run. But yeah, I'll give you guys a little time lapse of the wash on this thing.
All right, so it's a couple days later. Got some of the parts in we're gonna need for the bike. As you can see, we've got the top of the engine torn off. We've made a little bit of progress on the bike. We finished welding the frame that the engine's going to mount on. Don't mind the kickstand, we just have that there so the bike will stand up. That comes off. We had to take the rear tire off because the chain that was originally on the bike was 520, and the torque converter kit that we ordered only works with 420 chain. So we're going to be switching the rear tire sprocket back to 420 from 520. And we have Dylan here who's going to be installing the torque converter on the engine now.
Yep.
And he's going to be reading the instructions.
Yeah, just to make sure I get everything right. But so far on the engine, what we've done to it is we upgraded the carb jet, so we have the bigger main jet and the secondary. The billet intake with the big air filter on there just for clarencing issues. Have a little custom throttle linkage just made out of the old linkage on here. You know, the big piece that connects, I believe it connects right here to here, and it just covers up this whole piece basically, kind of like hides over in this corner. Basically just cut an arm off of that and then use one bolt and then the original linkages and springs on there. And it gives you a good little throw, and then it'll have a little spot right here where it'll pinch down the line. Line will come through and get put onto the other side of this, so when it pulls down, it gives it the throttle right there. But yeah, I'm just going to go to town, get this torque converter installed, and then from there, the only thing we'll have to do is figure out what we're going to do for our exhaust situation, because we have had a little bit of a dilemma with that. The factory pipe is just a little bit too big for our space constraints that we have. So we ordered another pipe that was something that we were going to be able to make work. But unfortunately, it looks like the pipe that they sent us is like for a 420 Predator rather than a 212. So what we're going to do is probably just take the main box off of the original exhaust on there and just run it on the straight shorty header that pops on right here for now until we get another one here. But yeah, I'm just gonna go to town on this torque converter, and we'll be back with you guys. So we're back. Got the engine pretty much fully assembled. Got the torque converter all put together. So you can see it turns over the flywheel now through that little gap. And then, like I said, we had to do something a little to get this factory muffler to work. But as you can see, we clocked it in different orientation. So in order to do that, what I did is I just popped off these 3 10 mils off of the back of the exhaust right here. So this whole box comes off. And then once I did that, I had flipped the header 180 degrees from where it's supposed to be. So instead of angling up like this, it's angling down now. So it points the box over this way, and then I had clocked the box in a different orientation. All I needed to do that was just opened up those 10 mils a little bit on the back side, allows you to clock it a little bit different, gives you a little bit more space clearance, kind of keeps it even with the aftermarket air intake. But yeah, this engine's pretty much all together. The only last thing we really need to do is eventually down the line put this on there. But just due to this temporary exhaust being so close to it, it's actually touching right here. We're just going to leave this off for now and get all of our test fitting done, and then once all the rest of the parts get here, we can, or at least when the new exhaust gets here, we can swap that around and start using this cover. And then we're probably going to have to do some cuts in it in the back to get the chain, or the chain slot for it.
It's kind of weird that it doesn't come with the chain hole
pre-cut.
But
they don't know necessarily, because you could mount this torque converter in like
any orientation.
Yeah, so instead of it being clocked down like this,
you can
you
mount
can
it
clock
up.
it up like that. You could clock it to the front.
Right, so they don't cut it so that no matter what orientation you install it in.
Yeah, so if you need something for a specific application, you need to chop it out up here or something like that, or because the chain can swing anywhere from right there. So
right.
But yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead and start getting ready to put the engine inside the motor. This is pretty much the full capacity of the sizing on it.
Take a look here. There's the full torque converter setup, and the custom throttle linkage. And really, the only thing we have left to do is just install the chain on this inner sprocket in there. And then, as you can see, inner sprocket, and then get it fitted up on the bike and weld the engine mount into place. We still got to cut the plate for the engine mount. All right, so here goes our first test. See the fitment after everything's installed, because unfortunately we had to weld this frame up before the torque converter came in. So hopefully this thing still fits. It's gonna be tight, but I think it'll get in there. Let me take that off. There we go. Slide her on in.
Damn, that thing fucking fits in there perfectly. Maybe up a little bit.
It's gotta be like in line with that,
but it looks like our exhaust is gonna work.
Oh yeah.
Might want to rotate it again to get it a little bit better angle. I didn't realize it was gonna shoot just like right there. Yeah. I think pointed down is gonna be better, but
at least pointing down is the question.
Yeah. Or maybe just pointing forward for now.
Get a look at that. Get a shot of that from the back. Look how fucking that thing's gonna be a beast. I can't wait to get this thing running on the road. This project's gonna be so fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get it all lined up and ready to go, and then we'll have to go from there. All right. So we're back. I got the engine back pulled out. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information for anybody that's trying to do this build themselves. So basically what we have here is we have this bar cut at, this one was 15.5 inches, and then the vertical was, give me 1 second, get it here, 18.5, maybe 18 3/4 on, oh no, excuse me, it was 18 inches flat, because I have the bottom bar welded to it. So yeah, it's 18 inches on the vertical, and then for the engine mount, basically what it's going to sit on, it's just going to be 1/4 inch thick iron plate that you see I have marked out to the size of the engine itself. So that'll be the engine mount, and unfortunately, we do not own a CNC machine here. Maybe one day when this YouTube channel picks up. but then it wouldn't be done wrong garage. So I'm going to be cutting that 1/4 inch thick plate with a cutting wheel on an angle grinder. So just mentally preparing myself. Got a little Red Bull to go. Fortunately for you guys though, through the power of YouTube magic, we can just go like this. Presto, all done. Man, would you look at that? It was like it cut itself out. Gotta love the power of YouTube magic. All right, so now we're just gonna get the support bars in place, welded in. We'll get the engine mount holes carved out of this thing, and then we'll get the engine installed. See you then. All right, it is the next day. As you can see, we've made a little bit of progress on the bike. It may not look like we've done much, but we've actually probably been working on this thing for about 7 hours today, just fine-tuning all the little small, minute details. We got a 40 gear rear sprocket installed. That took a little bit of time because we did not have the correct sprocket, so we had to make it work. We also got the engine mount welded in. It's all lined up so that the sprocket on the torque converter will line up with the chain of the rear tire. The only thing left to do now is just get the engine mounted, get the throttle cable all hooked up, and then just tighten everything down one last go and put air in the tires. And
oh, we got to do the chain too, but it should be no big deal.
We're gonna obviously fit the chain once the engine's on, but yeah, I mean it's all downhill from here. And this has been a hell of a project. We've been working on this thing well past the midnight hours for 4 days now.
The last 3 days, and we've been working for like 7 hours today, so
yeah,
we've been putting in a good amount of labor.
Yeah, surprisingly, this was a hell of a project. This was a lot to take on. It really didn't seem like it was going to be that bad at first, but there was a lot of engineering that went into it, and that just little small minute things that if they aren't absolutely perfect, things just won't work. So it's a lot of things you got to take into account when you move into this. If you guys have any questions about anything that we might have left out in this video as far as like measurements, anything like that, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, and we'll try to get back to you with any kind of information that we have. I do have measurements on all the piping, on what gauge steel we used, everything like that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And for now, let us get this engine installed and let's tear it up. It's 4th of July weekend, and I can't wait to kill myself on this thing.
Go, let's do it.
These snips suck so bad they can't even cut fucking plastic.
Yeah.
Chain's good to go?
I think so.
This bag's sitting against the fucking... Oh no, it's not. It's tripping.
That was right against the thing.
No, it's got quite a bit of gas in it now.
Alright guys, we're back. As you can see, it's dark out again.
Yep.
I think it's like 10 o'clock at night now. We ran into a couple other dilemmas. So we got the engine all mounted up. As we were mounting the engine on the final bolt, when it pulled the engine down to sit down, we didn't realize that the coil was getting caught on something. So when it did that, it torqued the plastic of the coil in a weird direction, and it cracked the whole topping of it. And so we had to make our trip over to O'Reilly's and just got a random spark plug or a spark coil wire for a regular car, cut it off, and so hopefully that'll work. Hopefully the spark plug didn't get any damage when it got twisted up like that. But besides that, got that repair done, got the bike all put back together. Besides that, I don't think there was any really big dilemmas. Just that our gas cap did not come in time, unfortunately, so we have a spray paint can duct taped to the top to hopefully prevent a little bit of spillage at least. But yeah, everything is bolted up. There's oil in the motor, gas in it. I see gas through our inline filter we have over here. But yeah, let's go ahead and see if this thing's ready to have its first run. Throttle linkage is all working. So yeah, let's give this thing its first run, hopefully.
Let's turn the fuel on.
Fuel's on. This might help if I turn it on.
go.
Throttle's a little high.
Yeah, you need to turn the idle down for sure. Hell yeah. First try, every time. Yeah, I know. That rear tire is not in the best of conditions, but for a $40 dirt bike. Woo. And it only took us 5 minutes. And 4 days. Woo. Yeah. The fluid circulate. We're definitely gonna need to get an exhaust. The exhaust didn't come in time either, if you couldn't tell. Ready to go piss all the neighbors off? All right, and so we're back. It's probably been about a week since the last shot. You know, we have real life things to take care of, unfortunately.
4th of July.
Not paying all of the bills yet. But so we, you know, just did a little bit of fine tuning here. Got the chain all mounted up, got the correct tension. It's a little loose, but the first chain we put on there, we really cranked it down, and it snapped almost instantly. So the second chain already. Torque converter's all mounted in, the casing's on. We got the exhaust. The fitment on the exhaust works really good. It's about 1 millimeter off of the frame, if you can see there.
Yeah, in the torque converter, if you see the shape of the torque converter fits along with the frame perfectly as well.
So all of the measuring and time we spent just kind of making sure all of the measurements were correct and everything was going to fit. And I mean, there's a lot of tight spacing that went down for, you know, because this is a YZ85 originally, so it's a small frame to begin with to stuff a big engine into. I mean, everything about this has just been, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of head scratching, a lot of fun. 10 out of 10, I'd do it again.
Oh yeah.
Only thing we're still missing is that godforsaken gas cap. I've tried probably 10 different gas caps. I can't find the correct one. I just have to go down to a Yamaha dealership and just order one. So thanks Yamaha for making a very specific gas cap that only you guys sell. Good to know. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on, and let's go for the first initial rip around the neighbor's track.
Yeah.
Let's see, first bolt. Ooh, almost. There we go. gonna pull up next to on the dirt bike. Yeah, so all in all, I'd say this project's quite a bit of fun. Man, thank you for sticking around and watching us through the whole video. If you guys have any more questions about how we did this, any of the measurements maybe we missed in the video, just please leave them in the comment section below, and we'll try to get back to you guys.
Yeah, and look forward to more riding footage in the future.
Yeah, best comment wins on what we did wrong. We'll pin you at the top.